6L90, 15mm on the linkage, tail housing on the pump. Pull the lockup O-ring off. They're usually hard as a rock. $10mm on the pan.
They say it was a ball body for the transit. Do you see any ball body delivery?
Yep, missed one. And it's pretty typical for these. Pull your filter off. Push in on that tab, pull up. That'll let your pass-through connector come out. E12 on the valve body bolt. Now these valve bodies are usually worn out. I usually put the Sonic zip kit in right now. You can buy the valve body with the kit already in it for what you're going to spend on the kit, so I'll just buy a valve body for it. On 6L80, these holes right here are up here. 6L40 and 50, they're in the center. 6L90, they're on the bottom part. And there's differences between the halves on 2010 and earlier and 2010 and later. So make sure that you get that all matched up. You don't want to go swapping that stuff around. You pull your pump out now. Eight millimeters. Okay, look at your surface here. Usually this is chewed up. This one here is not too bad at all. We could flat sand that and probably get that to come out okay. we need to look at this side. Pop your spring out. Alrighty, come out of there. Okay, we need to look at this surface down in here. It's still got a lot of bluing on it, so we're good with this. This will be okay. If it started showing a lot of silver, you're going to want to change that. This one here, I don't think is going to be salvageable. That is really deep grooves in there. So I think we can get by with just buying a bell housing. 6L80 and 6L90, the height of this drum is different. Make sure your pinions are okay on your planet. Your sun gear should be okay, but that does not mean it will be. There's a washer and a bearing here. While you have your drum together, go ahead and air check it through this hole, holding your finger over the other hole. We're going to make sure this is not cracked right here. It's okay. Okay, I'll go ahead and pop these out. Take a look at them. Make sure our cushion plates are not cracked. On these clutches here, how they're already getting burnt right there. This could be just because they've driven it. These steels are probably salvageable. I'm going to go ahead and order them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm going to replace this piston, the 1, 2, 3, 4 piston right here, just because they're burnt. This thing cracks and it's very hard to see where the crack is. Anytime I got burnt clutches right there, they getting replaced. The 3/5 reverses, which were on top, this likes to crack right here around this weld. I'll show you how to check it. Best way is to check it with it hot. Usually it's not hot when it gets back here, so keeping it wet in here is going to help. You get the pistons out. Balance piston, usually they're getting this bad, I'm going to be replacing them, especially if you start seeing little stringy stuff coming up. Okay, this is the later piston. You got the number here at 24, 26, 63, 64. This is not as bad about cracking as a 24, 23, 8700. and the number that was before it, I can't remember what it is off the top of my head. But where they'll crack is right down inside there, and very, very hard to see. So no matter what, when those are burnt, I'm replacing them. Alright, we got another snap ring in here. Where's my opening? Right there. Let that sit in the fluid. Pop my piston out. Make sure this bevel plate's not broken. Okay, it's best to have a air blower like this. This tip we're going to put right up in here where this weld comes out. We're going to look for air bubbles. Blowing air right there, but that's an air bleed. That's okay. Okay, this drum looks okay. Okay, we're going to need steels for here for sure. Pressure plate's iffy, so we're going to replace the pressure plate. Cushion plate's okay, but steels and the pressure plate's no good. Let me pop the snap ring out of here. Okay, I don't know how well that's showing up. See how stringy that is right there? These pistons are bad. So we'll leave our pistons out. Make sure our bevel plate's okay. I see a lot of people replacing these hubs. I have yet to replace one. I don't know why they're replacing them. My manager thought it would be a great idea. He bought a bunch of them. Like I said, I haven't replaced one yet. Bearing on each side. The bushings are always worn out in these things. Put a whole bushing kit in them. I don't even look at them anymore, I just put a whole bushing kit in. Alright, snap ring. Snap ring is supposed to be at the 9 o'clock position, and this one is. You're going to need a pretty hefty pair of snap ring pliers. You can get it out without it. Be very careful when you do it, because it's got a lot of tension on it. Allow your center port to come out. Look at your case lugs in here where these are riding, and look at your case lugs here. Make sure this is not worn out real bad. Looks okay. And this bushing right here is starting to walk out. It's pretty common on this. This cushion plate right here does like to crack. Make sure our plate's not broke. Now on here, I don't go to the foot press and press this down. I just push the snap ring off. And it's pretty common. Well, I shouldn't say pretty common. You do need to look for, on this sprag, I've only seen a couple. Make sure bevel plates or cushion plate's okay. You want to make sure it is turning clockwise, locking counterclockwise. But if this is bowed up in the center right here, you want to think about replacing that. And also it does say on here when you're pushing this back down to put your snap ring back in, not to push in a certain area, so be mindful of that. Okay, this is got the unigear, so this come out real easy. If it doesn't have the unigear, usually the whole assembly's coming out together. You're going to look for pits in here and chunks missing. It's not very common for these to be bad, but it does happen. Another bearing here. There's no need to take this apart. If it's bad, these gears in excuse me, these gears in here are going to be bad also. So just replace the whole assembly. Another bearing here. If this was not the unigear, there's a snap ring here that you're going to need to take off, and this ring gear is going to come out with the planetary. I usually just stick the ring gear back in the way it was, put the snap ring in to keep it in there. You can leave it out, doesn't matter. Bearing in the back of the case, and our case is empty. Okay, pretty common on these. Pumps are usually bad. The valve bodies are usually bad. The converter goes out, takes the pump out, clogs the filter up. Depending on how long you drive, so what else is going to be torn up. The 456s usually are burnt like that because they keep driving it. If they continue to drive it, they start burning up other things. Pretty common on these for these pressure switches to blow out. They do make a rebuild kit for it. I do that on every one. Like I said, don't do the zip kits now because I can buy the whole valve body for what it costs. And just don't have to spend that time doing that. So this one here is going to get a LS kit with pistons. That's a kit with clutches and pistons. Bushing kit, filter, 456 steels, pressure plate, snap ring, the 1, 2, 3, 4 steels. Gonna replace the bell housing, flat sand my pump. What else? Torque converter, of course. I think that's it. So this one's a pretty straightforward little deal. We'll see you when we rebuild it. Okay, one thing I did forget to mention on this stator, if you have a stator that the rings rotate like that, you want to get rid of this thing. You can change it out, it'll swap out. You want one with non-rotational rings like that. Got these little slots in there. Ring to keep it from moving. It's got expanders behind it so it expands it out. This one here will give you problems. It's not if, it will. So anytime you see this is only on the early ones. Anytime you see the rotational rings, you want to get rid of that.